If you suspect you've got some pronatory problems, some arch supports, and also make sure you've got good shock absorbing shoes. Obviously rubber synthetic shoes, lace buckle or strap, and ladies, not high heels, okay? Anything over 1.5 centimetres with a very narrow heel is going to really hurt if you've got this condition. So I suggest you sort of leave it off for a little bit until it subsides. Now if you find that once the pain subsides, but you want to address the other problem, which is the abnormal pronation, then, or it's not quite, the pain's not quite gone, then I suggest you would need to go to a specialist, someone like myself or a physio or somebody who specialises basically in looking at these sorts of conditions. They may decide to give you steroid or local injection therapy, not a favourite of mine personally. They may decide to give you orthotics, and basically orthotics are just basically devices that are complicated arch supports that are more matched to your prescription, and they can help, and that does definitely help with the abnormal pronatory problem. Ultrasound therapy is also being used. Sometimes you need about sort of 10 or 12 of those usually, but it does work. Laser is also another new thing, a new way of dealing with it, like low-level laser therapy. I like in my clinic, what I tend to do is I tend to give acupuncture, because I'm very much into the holistic side of treatments. It's a modern style of acupuncture. It's not Chinese or traditional Chinese acupuncture. Basically it's based on trigger point therapy. In other words, where you have the trigger points of pain. And that's what I would normally needle, and it usually works very, very well. Tends to, more often than not in 80% of cases of heel pain. And there's also something called marigold therapy, which is also that was developed by a chap called Tawfiq Khan over about a 30 or 40 years period. And he was unfortunately he's not alive anymore, but he was a homeopathic podiatrist, the first in this country, in fact. I think he was the first in the world. And he developed a therapy called marigold therapy, which is based on marigold, an African species of marigold plant, mixed with some other types of herbal homeopathic type of remedies. That is a topical application that you can put on for lots of different types of conditions. And one in fact is inflammatory conditions, such as this type of condition, plantar fasciitis, and it works quite well. Other things you can take, again, homeopathic remedies, rustox, rutagraviolens, arnica, or you can go and see a herbalist. Whether nutritional side of it, I don't really know that much about the nutritional. I'm sure there is a nutritional side of it as well. Okay, so that's plantar fasciitis. Okay, am I out of time? 2 minutes. All right, I've got 2 minutes to talk to you about Achilles tendonitis. Then, I'm sorry, it took very long. Okay, so Achilles tendonitis. So it's the Achilles tendon, which is attached obviously to the calf muscle. It's a big muscle at the back of your leg, and the tendon is attached to the heel bone, and it's responsible for picking up the heel off the ground as you're walking, and also for limiting the amount of bend of your leg, of your foot, as you are moving onto your other leg. And this is obviously an important factor when you're walking, because you don't want to fall over flat on your face. So we have to talk about the calf muscle, really, because that's where it originates from. And this is quite common for people who are engaged in a lot of sports, because the muscle becomes fatigued or overused, or sometimes, unfortunately, you can get tears and rips in the tendons and the calf muscle. Wearing high heels, unfortunately, sorry ladies, come back to this again, but anything over 1.5 centimetres heels over a period of time will in fact shrink the calf muscle and pull the tendon and contract the tendon. And so therefore, you know, if you've been doing that for some period of time, and you go into a lower heel shoe, lower heel shoe, it's going to pull at your tendon and can cause you know, inflammation of pain. Again, abnormal pronation. Another thing is coming back to that abnormal pronation. Unfortunately, that's a big cause of it. And I mentioned the tendon ruptures still like. So what would you see? You would obviously, if you were doing a lot of sports, you get a lot of fatigue in there, pain, inflammation. You get a lot of muscle cramp, tightness, and shortening of the calf muscle and tendon. So as I mentioned before, lower heeled shoes. Very important to do is warming up and warming down exercises when you're doing sports. What do I mean by this? I'm talking about stretching before and after. And a lot of people don't forget the after bit, and that is really important, because what you're doing is you're warming up the muscle, you're using it, and then you need to do warm down exercises, so to get it back to get it to relax. Arnica spray lotion is very good to use. Shock absorbing soles on your shoes again, with proper straps. Again, hot and cold therapy, compression bandaging and ankle supports are you can use those as well. Addressing your abnormal pronatory problem. Ultrasound laser again, physio for cramps, fatigue, and obviously if you've got tears or ruptures, you would need a bit more intervention like surgery. Okay, I think that's it. Sorry if I've gone over. If you've got any further questions you want to talk to me, I'll be at the head to toe stand. Thank you for listening.
Thank you very much, Martin.